Okay, if you are someone who knows exactly what you should be doing, but you still don't do it, take a deep breath because this one is for you. So maybe you know the habits that would make you feel so much better. Maybe you know the steps that would move your life or your business or your health or your happiness forward. Maybe you even teach others what to do, but when it comes to your own life, you freeze or you delay or you avoid or you overthink. And then you quietly ask yourself, like, well, what is wrong with me? Seriously, like, why can't I just do that thing? So, the first thing that I want to say is there is nothing wrong with you. You are just a human with a human brain. You are not broken in any way. So, let's talk about what actually happens beneath the surface because once you understand this, everything else will begin to make sense. So, knowing isn't the problem. Okay, we live in a world overflowing with information. You can Google any step by step plan. You can watch a video. You can listen to a podcast. You can read a book that tells you exactly what you need to do. So the issue has never been a lack of knowledge. Okay, we can go out there and get knowledge, but it does not mean we're going to take action on it. If knowing was enough, like we'd all be super fit, we'd all be organized, we'd all be wealthy and peaceful and fulfilled, confident human beings living out our dream life. We all know that that is not true for everyone. Okay, because transformation doesn't happen just because someone hands you information. It happens when you pair action with knowledge. Okay, knowledge without action doesn't mean much. So, the gentle truth that I want to share with you is that your brain can know the way forward and probably does know exactly what you need to be doing, but it can still feel very unsafe taking that first step. That is why we stay in the thinking phase. That is why we plan but don't move. That is why we decide but we don't actually follow through. It has nothing to do with intelligence or willingness and everything to do with the fact that our brain wants to keep us stuck inside our comfort zone. Because, when we stay in our comfort zone, we stay safe. Now, we might not be happy in our comfort zone, we might not be growing, might not be fulfilled, but we're still at least safe. Okay, because your brain interprets anything that's unfamiliar or uncertain or emotionally vulnerable, like even if it's a good thing for you, even if it feels uncomfortable, okay, it's still a threat to your nervous system. And so, whatever you say, well, I'm going to try to do something different, okay, I'm going to try to set a boundary, I'm going to try and work on that dream. If your brain sees that it's outside your comfort zone, it thinks, wait, don't do that. Okay, that could create discomfort. That could create or lead to rejection or judgment or failure or change. And why in the world would you want to do that? And so, what your brain tries to do is, keeps you overthinking, procrastinating, avoiding, researching more, or convincing yourself that you don't actually even want that thing anymore. Not because you don't want it, you secretly probably do, but because your brain wants to keep you inside your comfort zone and keep you safe, okay, rather than moving forward. And so, here's something that you really need to understand. Not taking action, even though you think that it is, a good thing because it's keeping you outside your comfort zone, can lead to a different sort of pain, lead to a different sort of pain. But once you understand that you're not crazy because you are not doing the thing, it's just your brain trying to protect you, you can have so much more compassion for yourself. And compassion is going to create space, and space is going to create possibility. And possibility is where change begins. So, how do you move forward knowing this? Okay. Now that you know that it's very natural not to want to step outside your comfort zone, the answer isn't to shame yourself into taking action. That just creates pressure, and the pressure is going to shut you down, I promise. The first step is to make sure that you feel safe enough to just dip your toes outside your comfort zone, okay? In a way that allows your brain to not freak out. And that's why I always say, whenever you go for goals, set a goal that is stretchy but does not break you. Dip your toes very slowly outside your comfort zone instead of taking this big, massive leap. And so, what this looks like in real life is just taking a step that feels very doable, non threatening, just a tiny little step, and remove the expectation that it's going to be perfect. It's not going to be, okay? I embrace messy action all the way. And I want you to know that you can choose gentle action, tiny action, C minus action, not A plus action, instead of this all or nothing thinking. Let yourself be a beginner, my friend, and remind yourself that discomfort isn't danger, okay? Because the empowering truth is this, okay? Everything that you potentially want is on the other side of fear. And we have to learn how to get comfortable with that discomfort. It's going to be part of the journey that is required whenever you are stepping outside your comfort zone. And so your job is not to wait until you feel fully confident before you act. Okay, it doesn't work that way. You need to feel courageous first and just take that small, compassionate step so that your brain starts to understand, oh my gosh, we can do this and we survive. And then what you're going to discover is when you're dipping your toes outside your comfort zone, just that little tiny step at a time, your comfort zone starts to expand, okay? It starts to get bigger. And so think about an area of your life where you might like, well, I know what I need to do. Like, I know I should be doing that thing, but I'm still not doing it. Can you potentially choose the kindest, smallest next step? Okay, not a massive leap, not an overnight crazy transformation. Just open the door and step outside. One little step. Because once you've taken that one little tiny step, you're going to discover that it feels a little bit scary once you're on your feet. And so, if this is landing with you, if you're tired of living inside your own head and you want to start taking gentle, doable action in your life, I've created something that will support you. It is my free guide with 5 thought shifts that are going to help you get out of your own way without pressure, without burnout, without perfection. The link is in the description if you feel called to go a little bit deeper with me, but no pressure at all. It's always that open door, and I always encourage you just to step towards that door. You do not need to do anything perfectly. You don't have to even be fearless. It's like the goal is to be courageous, and you do not need to fix everything at once. You just need to understand the way that your brain works with so much more compassion. And knowing this, take one small step today, okay, from this understanding. And if this has spoken to you, tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And what is one gentle step that you're willing just to take this week or today that you have been avoiding? It always starts with the tiniest little baby steps. I am in your corner, my friend. Take care until next time.